Good morning from New York. I'm I'm your personal mystic, telling you to be your own mystic. Empowerment. Today's topic is the inner mind really inner? Inside what? The power of exploring the infant mind and what it means in political communication. Wow. Did I write that? Anyway, um, let's get down brass tacks. Uh, Anything is most certainly you. It's your brain and your body, something. And that interface. Um, the brain, more certainly, your mind. And what is that? What is that mind? Well, what is that mind? Well, that mind is what you imagine, what you perceive, and it includes your sense of who you are, other people are, what the universe is for you, your world. And the infant mind is the part of you that had no ego, no self concept. None at all, really. Some would argue with that. No, there's no. Well, definitely there was no ego concept. So, and so is your experience, which is how you know anything, your consciousness, really have an inner and an outer. Is your brain inside? Inside what? Yeah, well, the brain is definitely inside your body, head, and yet your mind is your whole picture of reality. So the brain has a central place inside your skull. But what about your mind? Your mind is what your brain imagines things to be. So that includes everything that you've experienced and everything that you are experiencing. Your sense, your consciousness of it is created by the brain. And that consciousness includes an outer and an inner in terms of your experience. So, in your experience, uh, really, your outside and your inside self is the same. And there really isn't an inner or an outer uh, for that because your very concept of inner and outer is inside the brain. Either everything in your experience is in your brain, or it's outside of your brain, being filtered by your brain, which means in terms of your consciousness or what you're aware of. That's all inside. So it really doesn't matter whether you're communicating in your imagination, which is part of the techniques of better mind communication, or whether you're talking to people in real life. So when you're talking to someone, you have an imagination of what they are and who they are. You're being fed information from that person. This is an important thing to think about politically. Until it's an inner, clear imagination, that person is a wonderment. You don't know. So, and what you really experience is a picture of them in your mind, a sense of who they are, yes, their intention exists inside your mind. So if you're talking to someone in terms of what we should do politically, you need to take that imagination, who you think that person is, put it to the side. So if you're, otherwise you're prejudging everything, uh, guessing, making all kinds of guesses, and the brain is about guesses, about prediction, survive. But you also have to be aware that your predictions can be wrong. You have to have a certain amount of wonder when you talk to someone. And so, already concluding that someone is incapable of understanding the concept that you have is inaccurate. Maybe they can, and maybe they can't. So you're always testing the waters when you're talking to someone, when you're discussing political issues. You need to give up this idea that you're inside and they're outside. It's all happening inside your brain. And they do have a brain, and it's all happening in their brain. So it's a meeting of brains that's going on, and you should enjoy the ride. That's how you best approach another individual is like a baby without preconceptions, without holding on to an idea of who you are and who they are, being open to seeing both of those things differently. Because when you're interacting with the world, with another person, who you are subtly changing. They're changing. The world is changing. So you like the infant mind is very sensitive and open, and exploring the infant mind is an exploration in having doubt about the things you think, not being attached more closely to it. It's not being attached to the things that you think. There was a sign that someone showed me once that said, don't believe everything you think. That's how you approach people politically. Hard to do sometimes, but do it that way. Don't make prejudgments. But now, on the other hand, if the person is truly persuadable, they can find some common ground, right? And from that's where your brains are connecting. That's where you have something of starting point to explore political ideas or any other. And it also is what that individual and what you as an individual are comfortable. We have a comfort zone that it's important and limited, and so that's an important thing to find and to explore. Now, the infant mind, exploring the infant mind, means being open to non-language kinds of that means there's a lot of facial communication going, and you should be open and responsive. There's an instinctive element to the infant mind that is pro-survival, and the infant mind is still smart in terms of whether a person seems friendly or not. There's a kind of openness, kind of trust. And as you explore the infant mind, in your rational mind, you see no reason to distrust. That openness and that trust is also a part of finding common ground. If you can't have that kind of openness, trust, a kind of trust and wonder, an openness to being wrong, an openness to truth, which is neither inside or outside, it's just what it is. And when you're talking to people, keep in mind that you're not really seeing who they are. You're seeing sometimes their reaction to you. Do you ever see somebody complaining about how people just mistreat them? And, yeah, well, maybe they're right. But have you ever seen a person that walks around with a scowl on their face? And maybe they wonder why they can't get a date. Well, that the gift to see ourselves as others see us is something that we have to explore when especially when we're talking about sensitive items, politics. So, is it really you that you call inner? Is there even an unchanging element of self? The Buddha says no, and I agree. There is, and brain science is also agree. This idea of a self that's unchanging, this rigid concept, self-concept, is something that doesn't exist in the infant mind. Part of giving up that is to explore the infant mind, to go in and see how the world looks when you don't see things with a sense of subject and object, a sense of I am here, I am this thing, observing that thing. Actually, you're not. You are interacting between who you think you are and what you think the world is. So you're going, oh well, I'm just this is just confusing. That was Sapolsky's concept of no free will, very confusing, but still real. So in this exchange, give yourself the freedom to understand that there's something illusory about the very idea of self in the first place, and who you are, and definitely who the other person is. Yeah, it just follows. And so, talking to someone politically, open your mind. The open mind is a mind that is coming from the infant mind perspective. An open mind doesn't begin with the idea of this is who I am, this is who you are. I hope that's now clear. And in that exchange, you might find something amazing, common humanity that we all share. Here's another person. Chances are they love their kids just like you love. Chances are they have likes and dislikes, favorite foods, and just like you, they have a concept of themselves. Well, part of expanding your comfort zone is expanding this sense of who you are. And part of that expansion of who you are, the mystic path. The joining between yourself and this higher power, which is your brain. Having a relationship. No, everything that you give to this is a kind of mythology. Once you personalize amazing, mysterious brain, you've decided before you're aware, hey, I decided that. Oh, they studied it. True. Having a relationship is blissful. It's enlightening. It's a beautiful experience. You know, it's an exploring of your imagination in a very open kind of way. And and there's an opportunity there to explore when you're talking to someone else. Now, you will find some people who are very, you know, they're very fragile. They are, they have a very rigid sense of who they are, and that fragility is, you know, that uh, is walks hand in hand with the rigidity. Um, so, yeah, how are you going to change anybody's mind or your own mind when you're stuck in the same imagination who you are? If I'm stuck in my imagination of the world, of myself, of them, and so are they, it's very hard to communicate. Drop all that. So how can you do that in practical terms? Well, have a cup of coffee with the person, you know. Talk about, find some common ground, likes, dislikes, and kind of work things from there and try to be open to exploration. Part of the experience of the infant mind, exploration. You, it's a journey when you're connecting to some other person. That's a priceless experience. They are valuable human being, and so are you. And this is an exciting uh, experience, a chance to grow. So you've got to make sure, and you know, then you want more practical sense about how to pick a person. There's some experts out there that can instruct in terms of how to best problem solve together. So, what this mystic path is is in the practice of inner mind communication at at certain levels, like general practitioner or a trainer. Unless you're a trainer, you experience this relationship. You don't have to. Brain is at the seat of all the mythologies you create, personification is kind of up to you. But what is the best personification? You know, something you can really relate to and that can really grow you. It has to have all of these wonderful features. These forms of empathy. This must be the most empathetic, creatively, objectively, and passionately. Can I create another world? Is probably a better. But I'm sticking with the format. These this personification should be all about love. Should about be about the love flow and the things that make it work. And part of what causes the love flow and real progress is to not be rigid. The infant mind. It's still there. It didn't go away. And you can connect with it. a lot of people who practice meditation and so on find that they mellow out quite a bit. So it's a unique experience. The koans in Zen rather eloquently state this perception, this connection to the infant mind. So, I don't know. Have we gone too deep? I hope not. Ask questions. Don't try to answer. And do research. You know, online you will find many reliable science-based dissertations from brilliant people. There is no inside and there is no outside. We are like, so embrace the world. And if we are a lot like a whirlpool in a pool of water. Comes into being, and what is it? There's the whirlpool, certainly. But it's all the same stuff. Like we're all stardust. You know, it's all the same stuff. And it's the water is the water in the whirlpool or outside of the world. And definitely, you know, kind of oneness that you can connect to. The word namaste is a statement about that. Yeah. And the pool, well, that's the openness to wonder. That's the infant mind. And all that you think and all that you're doing, world. And that's not, no analogy is perfect. If you're looking at that, then you're going, well, the infant is still reacting to the rest of the world. So, yeah, but it's closer to the ground, to the openness of open perception, which there is no me that is the world, and a world which is the pool altogether. And it's energy flowing and existing in different states. Energy. And anyway, better be careful there. I want to move into Neil deGrasse Tyson there. Now, we can explore anything, no matter how much smarter someone else is. So if there's something about what they're saying that we can understand and we can work on. So, yeah, and that's how we should approach politics. You can't have anything to work on together until you find out what connects you. And it's the connections between you, the sameness that you can find, the pool of existence, the ocean which we are a drop. So it's the realization of Brahman, think that way. That it's an experience of you as a drop merging with the ocean. So anyway, all of this weird mystical stuff still is connected to politics. And it's connected to virtues because, you know, the mystic path is, again, it's this connection to the mystery of life, the mystery of the brain path. And really, you can never really relate to that perfectly, but you can personify and have a relationship with that. That can be really revealing. Or you can not have a personification of it and see it as the absolute truth, the ground of reality. But it's very hard to grow spiritually to see it that way, because it's the ground of reality and the absolute. You have to experience it. And that experience has to do with who we are. We are a form of life that tries to survive. And we're a social animal where we have a real connection between ourselves. In very complex sorts of ways. Well, if you're feeling like your brain is breaking, mine is too, on the edge. But, wow. See, what happens is you talk about these subjects. It's, you know, wow. And you have to just stand back and go, wow. Big. But, yeah. When we see ourselves as a drop, water, the ocean, well, are we not drops of water in the ocean of reality? We're a drop of the world, pool of reality. All of it is one. An appreciation of that oneness and politics. Otherwise, we're constantly divided. Back to the concept of how hard it is to spiritually with absolute reality concept. Well, a little harder, not impossible, harder. Because we are people. I was trying to explain. We are living creatures, and it's all about survival, and it's all about needs, and love is all about meeting human need, and that's what we experience. Meeting human need, whether giving or receiving, and that's the love flow. And so finding a common ground of blood flow between yourself and someone else, priceless, and a journey and a joy. And you approach it that way, you see good politicians, they come in and first thing they see a crowd and they're connected. And the great mystics of our time who have vision. And great politicians also have vision. But they have vision. They have, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a vision. A visionary. Mystics are visionary. They see more broadly because they're more open. And that's how you approach politics. With openness. Power of the infant mind. With a sense of the wonder that surrounds us and is us. Is everyone. And again, back to the growth, spiritual growth. Goodness comes from compassionate empathy. How we relate to one another with an understanding and a oneness with that other person in a way that promotes compassion and truth comes from objectivity, which an open mind is very useful for that as well. Search for the truth together. See the political, the good and political, not the yelling at each other. Yeah. And the creative, looking at things from a lot of different perspectives, which means you're kind of guessing a lot. And that's good. You're an infant, open to the world. I play in the world. Yeah. Without a sense of self-concept, without the chains of looking at things from a lot of different perspectives is a way of sharing, loving the person you're talking about, creative empathy. And so what's the virtue there? The virtue is artfulness, ability to see things in a lot of different ways. Ability to see ourselves as others see us at some point. Asking others. Being open. So we need to grow those. Skills in us, and if you personify the mysterious brain, this thing that is the imaginer of all we imagine. In that personification would include all of these forms of empathy and connection. And that's why, in Vaishnava Hinduism, there's this oneness between higher power, the Paramanandi. Every day, Atman. They see a separation. Vaishnava. The duels. And then there are people going, it's all the same thing. Well, it is, and it is. That it's a useful journey to separate and really enjoy in an open way the wonderful imagineer of all that you imagine. Part of you that sees reality like a movie, no matter what's going on. Good movie. So it's also a center of comfort above your time, your dramatic experience timeline. And yet, so it reaches into your past as compassion to help with that's happened to you. You get the good out. Resolve. You need to move aside the bad. Remove the helplessness involved in the love flow as it connects to your past. And it reaches into your future as your inner counselor. And that objective empathy, that plants a comfort zone into your future, your imagined future. You know, part of you that can plan and envision things. Because, you do this, then that happens, and this is this could become that. That's a comfort zone coming from creative empathy and the compassionate you, inner caregiver. That's the source of your goodness, as I said. And it's also a wonderful point of comfort placed within your past that can be expanded as you unlearn any helplessness that you've experienced and embrace the full story of your life. It means getting the good. Why do I say that it's giving you the good and not just resolving damaged faith and love? Because of damaged faith and love, you have this symbolic comfort zone, false symbol that mean you've lost connection with your real feelings, and you've applied a symbolic comfort on top of that. Jeez, seems like I'm reteaching the whole thing again and again. All of these things connect. So we started off something very simple, but then I expanded it. So let's summate, make a summation. So the whole point is it's fun to be open to the world. It's an essential ingredient in spiritual growth. And when we're dealing with each other politically, we have to, just as the artist within us. The imaginer of what we imagine provides points of comfort in time and space and sign, whole story of the movie, our dramatic lives. It is that comfort zone. And that comfort is part of what my summation is that we should find a comfort zone between ourselves and on. That's how we deal with things politically. And with an open mind, with an ability to step outside of the whole process and see two brains that are trying to see what's going on in the conversation, in the communication. But I do better with that summation. Find your comfort zone, expand it, be open to the world. Don't be attached to too much attached to how you imagine the world to be. That can be improved, expanded, and have that attitude when you're talking to somebody else with their own political views, and that means, in practical terms, finding common ground. And that common ground is a creation between the two of you of a point of comfort from which you can expand. There's no comfort zone, there's no point of comfort, common ground, there's no real communication. I hope that worked. That's the best I can do. You know, you tuned into this, idiot. Now here you go. it's the best I can do. And ask questions if you like. Again, I keep mentioning the word namaste because we are all part of the ocean of reality. We are one in that sense. And drama is an enjoyment. You know, appreciate, but should not overwhelm us. So, yeah, it means the love flow, potential for it. One person is honoring the same thing in the other person, and it won't reap favor, which makes you want everything. So, and like I say, you know, I love to send a little warmth, carrying out, doing it's sing an Irish blessing. And oh, by the way, subscribe. That means so much to me. Help the love flow. Subscribe, and you know, ask your questions. You can disagree with me with questions. Okay, let's work on that part. Otherwise, you know, I'll engage in a little banter. But Okay. Here goes with the Irish. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Or her hand, or its hand. Whatever. So, my heart to your heart, my mind to your mind. Stay. Have a great now. Make a great day. Namaste.